My name is Greg Stempia.
My name is Sarah Bowker, but I go by Di Bowker.
My name is Patrick Wilkinson.
I'm Lilith.
Chad Tower.
My name is Unkar Gambier.
My name is Megan Leswinzik.
Adam Cormier.
Eddie Tsang.
I think the club formed just because in the mid-2000s there was just a growing, I guess, subculture of Japanese culture in America, and more people were I guess, following it and becoming interested in it. So I guess a club formed so those on campus could meet each other who were into it.
I can't say specifically for this club, but when I was younger, we started an anime club, which is somewhat like a Japanese American culture club, and it was just for more like, back then it was hard to get merchandise and things offline, so you kind of come together to work together to try to collect different aspects of Japanese culture. So it works easier with friends.
I would assume it was probably a collection of similar interests associated with Japan, and kids got together and decided to form it.
People like Japanese culture and they want to learn about it and know about it.
I think the club formed because there is a lot of interest in Japanese culture in America, specifically in New England, I feel, I've noticed.
I think the club formed to get away from the anime pop culture people because they were all about just watching animes and they didn't really look into the culture of Japan itself.
I think it formed because there's probably a bunch of you guys that really like anime, and you're all just like, we need somewhere to hang out and learn, and so a few of you decided to make a club, and it just kicked off a lot.
Probably because there was an interest in Japanese American culture.
I would like to think it's because it's to gather people who share similar interests in Japanese culture, opposed to the animations, like just anime, manga. J-Club is more focused on the culture aspect of Japan.
Konnichiwa, watashi wa. That's probably wrong anyway. I can read it better. I'm sorry.
Yes, I took very basic Japanese language courses, but I learned most of it from watching movies and TV shows.
I took 2 semesters of Japanese here at Central. Not anything to be able to communicate thoroughly with a Japanese person, but enough.
Well, I would say the basics like konnichiwa or hello, like in the evening you say konbanwa.
I like to say I speak survival Japanese. I can ask where the bathroom is and where to get food, but I can't hold a conversation.
I know hiragana and katakana. I just took basic courses in Japanese.
I know mirror, kagami. I know dime, which is oni. I know shinto, the way of the gods. I know neko, which is cat. Ino is dog. Inu is pig.
A little bit. Not anything that I want to say.
Besides the basic vocabularies, word I can form what I like and spell it.
Japanese culture interests me because it is so diverse in what the culture, I guess, covers. The music and the animation and the pop culture. It's similar to American, but also it's so different that once it catches you, it kind of grabs hold of you.
It's sort of been around me my entire life. A lot of the cartoons I used to watch when I was younger were Japanese.
But for some reason I feel like the Japanese are very, conservative, I guess. They're very closed up, and I happen to be a very wild and out there person, so it's like the total opposite of things.
It's a culture that's kind of completely changed how modern society can be and still be modern society. Japan is known for being very modern, but also very traditional, and it was interesting seeing that kind of juxtaposition where you'd see, high-tech stuff right next to ancient shrines. And
I've been interested just because I love the samurais, the culture of the samurai, the honor they follow. That's basically one of my codes of living.
I just like it. It's been with me since I was a kid because of Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, all those shows when you were like a kid. So it's always been there.
I've always been a little interested in it. I've always been very interested in Asian culture. Something about that part of the world really fascinates me.
Well, it's just culture, and inside just focusing on the anime and manga section of it.
At this point in my life, probably video games, like Japanese video games probably interest me the most.
As a child, I think the main draw for me was music, but nowadays it's mostly video games because it's the interactive playing of like being a role in that society, but music's still really high up there on my list.
TV shows. I wasn't introduced to like live Japanese dramas until I got to Central, and I thought they were amazing and they were hilarious and I loved the humor in them, so that might be some of my favorite parts of like Japanese media.
Their way of life. It's pretty cool.
I'm very into the media, into technology. I follow like gaming and stuff, and a lot of the big breakthroughs in video games come from Japan, and animation and all sorts of things. I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint one thing because the more that I learn, the more interested I become.
I'm not too much of a big sushi person, so it wouldn't really be the food itself, but I love the media, I love the music, and I just love the Japanese culture itself.
The anime and the music, a little bit on the media, but I don't actually go out and read Japanese news.
I was supposed to lead a presentation on wildlife and the environment in Japan, but I had a conflict with that club meeting, so I just did the PowerPoint, not the actual presentation. I'm also very interested in art forms other than like anime and stuff like that.
Actually, mythology, I'm more interested in Japanese mythology.
Probably around like 5 or 6 when Pokemon was really taking hold in America. I mean, I feel like that was a lot of people's like first foray into Japanese culture because it became so big and so popular. And then after that, I started getting into stuff like Dragon Ball Z, which was also being shown on American TV. And then from there, it kind of branched out once like the internet was becoming popular.
I'm 23 now, and when I was 5, I had to have been into it, just not knowing what it was, like, you know, like kids' cartoons. But when I finally knew what was actually a Japanese culture and item, it was first anime. And I remember it was so long ago that the VHSs weren't even translated. You have to watch the VHS and go online and get the script and look at it, and or you just have Japanese subtitles. That was probably when I was about like 10.
I guess like 8 or 9 years old.
11, 12.
Pokemon, back in 5th grade. I didn't realize that I was getting interested in Japan at the time, but that's when it started. 12, yeah, 11, right?
It was probably during middle school when I started watching a lot of Japanese shows, Japanese animes, and started listening to a little Japanese music.
Probably around middle school, high school, when I actually discovered they had a culture. Anywhere from 12 to 14.
Well, I watched like all the anime shows that were on back in the day, and I never quite knew they were from Japan, and then all of a sudden I was like, these are from Japan. What's going on over in Japan? So that's when I really started getting interested in Japanese culture. Probably when I was like 12 or 13.
Back in middle school, when I first played a game, 7 years old, so I want to say about 11.
In J Club we cover a lot of different topics, pop cultural stuff like video games and music, dating, other stuff like food, and living, and like school life, which is pretty much like so many different parts of the culture.
Everything. It ranges diversely. Drifting and Japanese arts, the gritty topics such as like sexuality in Japan and
Japanese art with different popular shows, sexuality in Japan, while we talk about religion. It's pretty much everything that has to do with Japanese culture.
Pretty much everything from animals to music, everyday life in Japan.
I remember there was a meeting about food.
A lot of it's based off the culture, like art, cuisine. A lot of it can be based off of society today, like how certain people are portrayed or anything like that, stereotypes as well.
I want to talk about religion, way of life, like what they do daily, school life, what they do at home, what they do when they're not at home.
Japanese topics.
What's currently happening in Japan, either that or odd news or devastating news like the earthquake and tsunami last year.
This semester, this year, we've started holding a good amount of events. We had our Devil's Den. I know we're hoping to do more events to get our name out there and probably get some new members.
For a long time now, it's been a tradition to do like a formal where we celebrate Japanese holidays such as White Day. They go off campus, we go to New York City to take part in the Japanese society.
We do like a battle royale thing at the end of most years where we get a bunch of like water guns and we go to a park and hunt each other down. But I mean, obviously we don't kill each other, we destroy each other with water.
The little things that are, I guess, the most memorable to me. I really like the New York trips. Japanese culture and American society is really the best memories for me.
We had tried to go to see the cherry blossoms in the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. They were sort of dead.
I look forward to it. I look forward to Thursdays.
I made a lot of friends that I still talk to a lot.
Every time I go there, I always have a memory. There's too many to actually say what I enjoy the most.
I like every night of J-Club.
I really like going to meetings. I really like hanging out and talking to people that I've met through the club.
I met a lot of foreign exchange students and still know some of them now.
The interaction with people, like we get to play games with each other. It builds relationships while building knowledge.
Being able to have fun while learning about the culture. I love playing games like Price is Right and Pictionary and Jeopardy, and it's all talking about things that we learned that day of the specific Japanese culture.
It's just like sort of a miniature family. I've been able to get to know the members a lot better.
I guess the fact that everybody is interested in the Japanese culture.
The people, of course. I love, meeting new people and getting clashing ideas, and the more interaction you have with people, the more your mind can broaden, and that's kind of the point of life, in my opinion. So seeing all different people who were so vastly different, but all culminate together on their interest in one or two things about a culture. It was interesting to see the kinds of people that could be brought together that way.
Oh, just the environment. Everyone's friendly, so it's not like you don't like Pokemon, we don't like you. It's just, oh, hey, you like the Japanese culture? That's cool. We do too. Welcome to the club.
Very friendly. No one's really harsh and judging.
I'm in a lot of other clubs, and when I go, it's either like we don't really talk about anything, or it's like super cliquey. Where like I feel like I went to the first club meeting I went to, and like I was like welcomed in right away. Like everyone was really nice and really friendly. So I think just like everyone has a positive attitude. I think that's really important.
Different PowerPoint presentation, different people.
That's it.
Woo! Pulled all those in.